I, 29, male, discovered my wife, 27 female, online affair. I don't know if this is the right place for what I want to ask, but any help is appreciated. I've been with my wife for a few years. My wife is a stay home mom with our 3-year-old child. I found the evidence of my wife's emotional affair by accident. I bought her a new phone for Christmas, and an old one got put away in a box with a bunch of other electronic stuff. Most people probably have a few old phones lying around somewhere. I wanted to try using the phone for some random apps, and to my surprise, I found the history of my wife's online affair. It seems to have ended about a year ago. From reading everything and checking around, it seems as if the whole thing lasted for about 3 months. But it wasn't an affair the whole time. From what I gathered, a guy she knew in college contacted her through Facebook. There is no mention to a physical relationship or anything during college, so I don't know what the deal was exactly between them. It started off innocently enough, asking questions about life, work, family, trips, hobbies, etc. But after a few weeks, it got very flirtatious and then moved on to texting. My wife did participate and respond to the flirting and sexting, but he is very obviously the instigator and pushing it forward the whole time. I'm not saying this to defend my wife, but at least she did not start it. Although what really hurt was that she did describe sexual acts and said how she thinks about doing these things with him. I have an active sex drive and would easily do it with my wife every day, but we end up doing it about 4 or 5 times a week. So now I'm thinking she was probably fantasizing about this guy while she was with me. Now I get that people have fantasies, and I'm not going to lie and say never fantasize about another woman, but knowing who it was specifically for her feels bad. I feel like if I found out she fantasized about an actor or someone like that, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But this just feels too personal and intimate, and I'm not sure how to feel moving forward. He starts getting more and more graphic and even sent her some photos. I take pride in the fact that I am taller, more muscular, and bigger than him. She never responded to him with pictures, and she always seemed to pull back after he sent pictures. Eventually, he suggests meeting in person, and that was when she ended it. She spells it out to him saying, "What you're doing is wrong. She loves me and her family, and that this has to stop and to never contact her again." I have to admit that the past year has been great. Maybe it's just because she feels guilty about it, and it seems like she has doubled down on being a better wife, mother, partner, and a friend. When I could went through the devices and account she is currently using, and there doesn't seem to be any contact between them, nor evidence for anything else to worry about. It seems like she stuck to her guns. What I need advice in is how to proceed. Maybe I should confront her or keep monitoring discreetly because she doesn't know I know. What should I do?
There's a type of power you may feel in knowing something that she thinks she's kept from you. Like you have an upper hand. Having said that, why would you protect her by keeping this secret? She's not facing any accountability. She's not doing anything to help you or reassure you. Doubling down on her wifely/motherly duties is in her head. That's not owning what she did or showing remorse. Good for her that she ended this on her own accord, but she still cheated. She still lied. And she's choosing to continue lying to you every day. I would confront her. I would demand answers and honesty. And judging by her reaction, sincerity, and level of honesty, that would tell me how I would choose to proceed. It's time that she faces consequences for what she chose to do. I will go out on a limb and say you got all there is to get. You likely know from the early stuff if he is 10 miles away or 1,000. You have a handle on your wife's travels. The fact that she engaged in her fantasy replacement could haunt you for a long time if it is not dealt with. She found a substitute for what should have been you alone. My wife did that crap 35 years ago, and the pain still comes. She even now brushes it off as ancient history without understanding the triggers. She needs to work with you so you can come to terms with it as much as she would have had to if it had become physical. Best wishes. Confront her so she knows that you know. Also, please do not provide immediate reconciliation. That would not set a good example and never works out for the relationship. There should always be some consequence for this. This will act as a deterrent if such opportunities present themselves to her in the future. It seems like you are thinking of reconciling, but do not give it to her freely. In other words, if you are predisposed to reconciliation, do not let her know that this is your inclination. Do not let her know the source of your information. And do not give details of her affair. Make her think that you are going to divorce her over this. Make her think that it doesn't matter that she ended the affair. She chose to engage and encourage these cheating behaviors while she was home, and you were out working to support your family. Get a DNA test on the kid. Let her know that you can no longer trust her. Make her write a journal covering every aspect and detail of this relationship. Tell her that you need to know everything, and if she leaves anything out you will divorce her. How she reacts to all of your requests will give you a good idea on whether or not she genuinely feels remorse for her actions. You put your full trust in your wife. You chose to create a family with her, and this is how she repays you. Bring it up, make a big deal of it. She must understand there are consequences. Let's call this a dry run from her side. Dude, browse this subreddit or adultery one. I've discovered the second one accidentally 3W ago and almost wanted to throw up after reading couple of stories, and this shit happens on a daily basis to unaware husbands/wives who have zero idea they're so are having affairs and brag about it. That being said, make sure she learns her lesson and never ever crosses the boundary. P.S. Imagine the pics were reversed. He was more muscular, taller, bigger, perhaps having a Bugatti now. Do you still think she'd stop it? It's a rhetorical question. Sleep on it. She hid it instead of taking responsibility and throwing herself at your mercy when she ended it. I believe she knows she royally screwed up by taking it too far emotionally, but she has to answer to you for what she's done. Like others have posted, there needs to be consequences for her actions. I think you two can survive this, but it's going to take her coming clean and seeking your forgiveness first. Good luck. You sit her down and say to her, "Is an affair a deal breaker for you?" Then ask her, "How many guys have you cheated on me with?" ? Demand full access to her current phone before she can delete anything. Kick her out of the house. DNA test on your son. She needs to get a job if you want this. Post an app that protects your retirement assets. This is the big thing you want, right? Tell her that unless she comes forward with everything, you are divorcing her. Do not tell her what you know or how. She will lie. There may have been others. Ultimately you reconcile, but you make sure she understands consequences and boundaries. You establish access to social media, and you get the post up in place to protect you financially. Retirement might not seem like much now, but if she cheats in 20 years' time, you don't want to be giving her half. If she pushes back, you simply tell her that you aren't working so that she can sit at home and cheat. I am going to go opposite of my usual advice and most commenters here and say keep the old phone connected and just monitor her from time to time, all the while enjoying the extra attention that you are getting from your wife. Doubling down. I'm saying this because she actually did realize what she was doing and stopped herself. And while I agree completely that she cheated, it never got physical. She never sent pics, and from what you wrote, she never talked bad about you. I'd say the guilt she is feeling and the extra effort she is putting in as a wife and mother because of it is punishment enough. Just be the perfect husband, and like you/Kedmonson said, do something nice on occasion and tell her how much you love and appreciate her. It'll keep the guilt stoked up and keep her doubled down.